The silent assassin, Kingsley Crawford, in the long black board shorts. James, the honey badger, Hendin in the compression trunks. And we are underway here at Night of Champions. A nice left hand there from Kingsley Crawford to open his account.
Taking the center of the stage, that southpaw stance just presents a different set of problems, but good catch to the kick from Hendin.
Both guys looking very light on their feet early.
That's a little bit wild from Crawford. He's let Hendin get in on the hips here, nice and low, driving him to the cage. See, he's trying to pin him with the force of his shoulder, try and make the hips nice and light so he can get the legs up, but it's a good job by Crawford to muscle him back up to an upper body tie.
That was interesting to note, Josh. You know, Crawford said he was expecting a brawl in this one, and he's already finding himself defending the takedowns early doors. Looking for the throw over the hip there. Beautiful technique.
You know, it was kind of a hopping Haragoshi. He just started to load the hip, and he just managed to top him over.
Hendin's got a lot of support with him in the building tonight, Nathaniel. You know, you've fought many times for Cage Warriors in London and had a packed house behind you. How does that make you feel when you're walking out to the cage and you've got pretty much the entire auditorium backing you?
It's hard to describe it. You know, when you've got the whole crowd behind you, it can literally, you know, pull you out from a you know, a real bad position. And you know, it means a lot when you've got people behind you, and you kind of feel like you're not just fighting for yourself in there. And you know, I definitely feel that 100% makes that difference.
It's a really heavy top half guard for Hendin. He's just sitting on that bottom leg of Crawford. It's really making it difficult for him to pull his hips out, but he's been able to create some space there. Straight back down, grabbing that head and arm. He's going to try and force the shoulders flat on the mat again.
Perhaps looking to set up that submission on the far side is James Hendin. Crawford, though, doing a good job of getting that hip to the ground, looking to get out of this position.
Needs a little bit more urgency when he does the work to get all the way up on his hip there. That's the position to move. You can see here he's let himself get collapsed again, let himself get flattened out. And it's good heavy work from Hendin, but you know, Crawford had a chance there to change his position, didn't take it. Yeah,
he's got to free that left leg there as well to get up. You know, he's almost clamping himself down.
And this is not the start that Kingsley Crawford envisioned. Thought he was in for a brawl. Instead, he's on the back foot here, playing the defensive game.
Oh, he's actually got an interesting kind of 100% grip here. I don't think he's going to be able to put it to much use. There you go, easily popping the head out from Hendin, who's marching him towards the cage. Now, this could be useful for Crawford if he's practiced using the cage to stand back up.
Watch your heads, watch your heads.
Looking to push off there. And perhaps the opposite might be true. Doesn't want to get crushed in between the mat and the cage.
I mean, it's a heavy passing style at the moment. He's just keeping that upper body locked down. It's allowing him to be a bit freer with the hips. And you can see he's sitting on this leg again and just weighing heavy, landing damage when he gets the chance.
Oh, nice series of punches here from Hendin. Really living up to that Honey Badger nickname.
Oh, key lock attempt on the far side. That came out of nowhere.
And he's certainly giving Kingsley Crawford a lot to think about early doors, Josh.
It just seems to be a little bit of a lack of urgency from Crawford to change his position. I mean, this is a tough first round for him to try and wear through.
Steady stream of strikes here. Nathaniel, what does Kingsley have to do to turn this one around?
For me, he has to free his legs, you know, get his left leg out to try and get up. You know, I know it's hard and difficult when you've got someone on top of you, especially when you're throwing punches down. You know, you've got to get a bit of urgency and get out of that position.
The urgency might be the key factor for Crawford here. He's way down in this first frame.
Yeah, he's got to break away here. He's got to try and change the angle, break away. We've already seen that Hendin's going to throw the hopping takedowns in. That was a good decision from him to dictate the split and the strike.
Nice. Right-handed shot, left hand rather down the pipe from Kingsley Crawford. This is the range he wants to be in. This is the kind of fight he wants.
Yeah, and it's a better sense of tempo from him. He's accepting that, okay, I was down the first part of this round. I've really got to go to work now, but eats an open side kick right up under that guard.
And another.
I love the way...
Sorry, Nathaniel, after you.
I love the way Kingsley Crawford, he slips his head off when he throws that straight.
Got to be careful in these furious exchanges. Crawford said he expected a brawl, and Hendin more than happy to oblige here in the end of the first round. And another takedown to end the frame.
A little bit late on that one.
Well, an interesting first round there. We saw an early takeover by the Honey Badger. Crawford, though, doing some good work in the stand-up phase, but clearly not enough to get him back on the scorecards in that round, as we take a look at some of the replays here.
Yeah, that was a good straight left fight from that backhand, but here's the hip throw. All the way around, just had to work for it, but on top he was grinding, he was landing good strikes, he changed position and kept the pressure heavy. Crawford, as you say, Brad, started pulling it back, and I just think the diversity of strikes was a bit better from Hendin as well on the feet, you know, threw the kicks in, mixed it up a bit better. A very tough round for Kingsley Crawford. I don't know how you saw that one, Nathaniel.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I'd 100% say that was a great round for James. You know, he was obviously the dominant fighter, and, you know, I definitely think that Kingsley would, you know, look better if he keeps this fight standing now in the second round.
Well, seconds out, round two about to get underway. Referee Rich Mitchell keeping a close eye on the action here in our opening contest at Night of Champions. Let's see if Crawford can punch his way back into this contest.
He's got to look for some combinations from the centre. He's got to be first to the punch as well.
Looking to back his man up on the cage there and limit his movement, and a nice left hand again. That's twice he's found a home, and twice he's made it the most significant strike of the fight so far. Hendin swarming forward, though.
That's exactly what Crawford needed to do at the start of this one. Come out, start hard, make a little bit of a statement, just make Hendin think that it's, you know, it's not going to all go his own way.
We heard the corner of Hendin there asking for more forward pressure. They don't want to give Kingsley Crawford the time.
Kingsley, over there.
Oh, it looks like we've had an inadvertent eye poke there.
Low blow, possibly.
Show me the eye. Want to doctor him?
No, that's fine.
Wait, you've got
Rich
5 minutes.
Mitchell just having a
Take
quick
your time.
word with Kingsley Crawford there. Let's take a look
you
and
blink
see if we
that
can
clear
figure
as
out
well,
what
yeah?
happened there.
Blink it clear, you good?
You
tell me when.
Wow, 2 for 1.
I know it was an accident. You keep reaching out with your fingers
So
as
that
well,
means
all
Crawford
right?
will
You've
get
got
the
to be
5 minutes to
careful.
recover if he needs it.
You tell me. Okay, time
Looks
in,
like
let's
he's
go.
ready to go, though. We are back underway. Again, feeling his way with that left hand from the southpaw stance. He's definitely seen that there's an opening for that strike. Superman punch there with the left hand. Crawford looking a little bit sharper in this round.
Yeah, it just seems to have changed his tempo a little bit. I do wonder if Hendin's going to look for another takedown here.
You want to keep going? Go.
Looked like Hendin maybe got caught low briefly then, but didn't need the time to recover.
Good inside cut kick.
Oh, nice knee on the inside from Crawford, but there's a big takedown.
Yeah, just kind of a driving upper body lock. I mean, look, the thing is, you can run forwards a lot faster than they can run backwards, so just managed to get over the top of the centre of gravity of Crawford and bundle him down to the ground. He's done so in his own corner as well.
And in an ideal position to take instruction from his seconds there. Nathaniel, you're known for having one of the more vocal cornermen in Brad Pickett in your corner. How important is it when you can just hear those instructions at times like these?
It's very important. You've got to have a good team around you, and you've got to have the right people in your corner. If you haven't got the right people telling you the things that you need to hear, you know, then it can just all go wrong. So I'm fortunate enough to have the right guys in there.
And then looking to rain down some strikes from this top position now. And again, Crawford using his feet to angle himself off the cage.
Yeah, I'm surprised a couple of times he's pushed away from the cage rather than trying to use it as a weapon to really pivot off. He's looking for a single elevator sweep there, not really going to be able to lift someone who's stretched their body out as long as Hendin had. Puts a lot of weight on the end of the lever.
Back of his head.
Oh, and this is classic heavy passing from Hendin, looking to step over that knee, shut that hip down. We've already seen how heavy he is in this position. Crawford searching on that Kimura, though.
Crawford considers himself a Muay Thai and BJJ fighter rather than the traditional mixed martial artist. Let's see what he can get going from this bottom position.
Yeah, black belt Steve O'Keefe in his corner, giving the instruction on the ground tonight for Crawford.
Steve's a guy who we've seen both inside and outside the cage many times over the years.
Yeah, doing a lot of great work with Fight for Peace as well, trying to tackle gang violence in London as well. I really like what Hendin's doing with his work rate on top. He's keeping it a bit rough, but, you know, he's throwing strikes when he needs to stop the transition of the position, and then he's going back to locking down and being very judicious with how he throws them. I think it's great work on top from him, a good work rate.
Yeah, doing enough to keep the fight on the ground. The referee more than happy with the amount of action here. And the clock is ticking away for Kingsley Crawford. 90 seconds left in this round. Looking to get back to his feet now, though. He's got the neck. Up he comes.
Yeah, but it's 50-50 here. They've exchanging guillotines. It looks like Crawford has the better posture right now.
I want to see a big WWE type suplex here for Kingsley Crawford.
This is such a... He's got to do something in this minute, right? Because the first 2 minutes he had good work on the feet, but he's had, rolling suicide throw. Yeah, the following 2 minutes he's just been outworked on top, but good sprawl here.
And Hendin again putting the pressure on. We've heard his corner asking for pressure all through this fight, and he's certainly delivering when it counts. Crawford with a late knee to the body there as this round draws to a close. They're brawling it out in the clinch. An interesting second round with a little bit of afters there. Emotions clearly running high.
That is a much closer second round. Very tough one for the judges, simply because of how the timing broke down.
Let's take a look back at some of the action from that second frame. And again, Nathaniel, it's that left hand from Kingsley Crawford that did the damage.
Yeah, when you're fighting a southpaw, you know, for me it's always slip the head off to the left and throw the straight right, and you know, I guess it works vice versa for the other guy. He's always slipping his head off to the jab hand, and he's able to throw his big shot.
Nice ground and pound there from James Hendin, the Honey Badger, relentless in those exchanges on the ground, and he's done more than enough to keep the fight where he wants it. Very measured performance from this young man.
Yeah, really impressed with him. But as we say, you know, he's undefeated through his pro career. He had a lot of amateur fights. It's not going to be anything new for him that he hasn't seen before. It's just going to be, can he stick to the game plan and adapt on the fly? That is a tough round for the judges. It really is. I could honestly make arguments for it to go both ways. I'm possibly inclined to give it to Hendin for his time on top, but, you know, could go either way.
Okay, cheers.
In his professional career, Hendin has finished both contests so far, not yet gone to the judges' scorecards. Let's see if he can keep that trend up tonight, or can Kingsley Crawford pull one out the bag here. Hendin comes out slugging in the third round. Crawford's going to be more than happy to engage. Good head movement there, and again with a straight left hand. Now it's Crawford putting on the pressure. Ooh. Oh, he's caught his man there. Hendin looks hurt. Crawford raining down elbows.
A bit of wrestling from Hendin. He's trying to suck that leg in, and he's done a good job there, but he gets turned.
Crawford frantically defending this takedown, and we don't know if there's perhaps some cobwebs here.
Oh, he's through.
Crawford looks for the guillotine.
Yeah, this is a sleeper guillotine all the way through.
Oh, he pops his head out. Incredible stuff from James Hendin there.
When you get those knuckles all the way across to the other side of the neck, get both arteries with the one arm, it is nasty stuff. Just couldn't stay high enough on the back of the head to really stop it from popping out.
That's the only problem with the guillotines. If you don't get it, you end up on bottom.
Yeah, almost giving up mount here, but he's pulled himself back into half guard. We've seen what Hendin can do here, though. He can stay heavy, and Crawford cannot afford to just have time burned off the clock here.
Well, it looked like he got stung in that exchange. Perhaps this is exactly what he needs to just compose himself.
Yeah, I think that that shot was exacerbated by the fact he was coming forward on a shot at the time, so...
Yeah, great timing from Crawford there. Crawford trying to drop some elbows in from that bottom position. Let's see if he can force his way out from underneath.
Honestly, if I'm Hendin at this point, I'm going to slow it down. I'm going to try and pin him, take a lot of time off the clock, throw strikes cautiously where I need it, but maintain that position. And you know, you've probably got 2 rounds for sure in the bag at that point if he can stay here for another couple of minutes. But it's a good technical stand-up from Crawford.
Oh, dumped back to the mat by James Hendin. Beautiful work to kick that leg out from under his man there.
He's got to move, can't sit here with the neck up as well.
Oh, looking to take the back now is James Hendin. This is a bad position for Crawford to be in.
Yeah, he's got to get that right shoulder back to the cage. He's letting Hendin get just behind that right shoulder and that right tricep, and that's going to really lock the position in for him.
Hold the whole hand, Kingsley. Kingsley, don't hold his glove.
Both these young men just 21 years of age and seeing some really mature performances here. Crawford at the back door. Crawford now in the top position. Got around half the round left to play with. Maybe a little less. Nathaniel, if you're Crawford, what do you do here? Do you want to stay in top position, or do you want to stand it up and risk it all?
It's a tricky one for me. You know, I definitely think that Kingsley needs to do something. I think, you know, the judges may have given it to James if he doesn't pull something out of the bag.
Looking to create some space there. A nice knee to the body from Crawford.
Hendin is slowing here.
Crawford with an elbow off the break there. Hendin happy to engage in the clinch. Oh, spinning elbow, and he looked like he wobbled his man again there. Crawford's corner screaming at him to go forward.
Good knee to the oh! Standing Seyanagi. I love the willingness to throw these moves from Hendin. Rolls out of the Kimura attempt.
Brilliant exchanges here in the third and final round.
Oh, you see the corners. Steve O'Keefe in the background, 1 minute left, asking for everything from Crawford here, who's coming up on this double.
And it may not be enough unless he can get the finish here.
It's definitely going to be close. Start attacking those legs, get some knees in.
You've got to work in this.
Again, looking to spin with the elbow there, trying to tie up that plum clinch.
Oh, good shuck to go to the back. Again, can't sit here and eat these elbows. Down to the ankle pick now, classic combination against the cage.
Crawford just doesn't have the space to get anything on those elbows. A real battle of wills here, Nathaniel.
Definitely, and James knows that, you know, all he's got to do is wait to the end of the fight now, and he's got that in the bag, I believe.
Final few seconds of the round. Crawford, can he tee up that right hand, takes a head kick, and it's over. Well, no love lost there, I don't think. But what a contest to kick things off at Night of Champions, razor thin. Going to be interesting to see what our judges make of this.
Yeah, really close scrap. Couldn't quite keep an eye on the timings there in the third, so not entirely sure who got the better of it in that third round. Let's take a look at some of the replays, and it was Crawford just catching around the back of the head as Hendin shot in. Hendin did a good job of trying to wrestle back. You see just nice directional change, got hold of the hips, and had another good period on top here.
Yeah, some good shots from this top position. And this is a great stand-up from Kingsley Crawford.
Yeah, never got his leg out of the way, though. Hendin just picks him up, dumps him back down. There was a beautiful exchange with the rolling Kimura later on in the fight as well. Both guys showing willingness to throw a lot of slightly more unorthodox, you know, takedown attempts in this one.
Well, there's certainly going to be plenty for our judges to go through. Nathaniel, if you were forced to make a decision, if we put you on the spot, where do you see this one going?
I think I'm going to have to give it to James Hendin, you know, because he was obviously on top more, and, you know, he got the takedowns and whatnot. So, you know, I feel that's where the judges are going to...
Well, let's throw it to our MC, Mr. Hal Chaplin, and he will make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of mixed martial arts action, we go to our judges' scorecards. Your judges scored this bout 29-28, 29-28, and 30-27 in favor of your winner by way of unanimous decision. In the blue corner, James the Honey Badger Hendin.
A big win for James the Honey Badger Hendin. He stays perfect at 3-0. But in truth, neither of these guys will have anything to be ashamed of after that closely fought contest. We are